about semantics.
Standards, particularly in social studies, are pretty broad.
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory.
Some Ohio lawmakers want to ban what is known as critical race theory from being taught in K through 12 schools.
I'm Adam Gillette with Accuracy in Media, and today's installment of our hidden camera investigation into public education takes us to Northern Ohio, specifically Toledo and Cleveland, where once again we found radical administrators, occasionally aided by radical school boards, who are more than happy to deceive lawmakers, deceive parents, and push the radical ideas associated with critical race theory into public education. And once again, they told us they would not be deterred by any laws.
Look at House Bill 616 and 327. So those are some of the ones that you kind of dealt with. Going to be altered history and stuff? Yes. But we have one of those radical boards that's like, yeah, we're not going to do it.
Oh, really? Like the school board?
How much can we walk the line and still, you know what I'm saying, be in compliance? We're working on it. We don't know what's going to happen.
What if they saw 1619, they'd freak out and go shout at a school board meeting? They see themselves and they don't care.
Yep. And so that's what we're talking about. You know, it's all about semantics.
Really?
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you know, even thinking about the name of our department, we might become the Department of Belonging.
One of our friends told us, well, if I teach about privilege, the parents will go crazy. If I call it something else.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I think there are the subtleties between all of those. I mean, again, I think teachers can teach those things. It depends, again, on the language and the approach.
It's all about semantics. And a lot of things will probably just change names and stuff like that.
So that we can get around those bills?
I hope so.
We are teaching to the standards. And the standards, particularly in social studies, are pretty broad when you talk about some of those things that you could fit almost anything into it without drawing attention to it.
Nice.
We teach to the standards.
Fair enough.
And as long as you can point to it in the standards, they can't come after you.
Right.
Or hopefully.
Right.
Teaching to the state standards is a common line we heard from administrators around the country. State standards are generally broad enough that you can teach whatever you like, point to the standards, and in some way claim that you're teaching to them. Many parents, of course, don't believe that this is happening in their community, or perhaps they just don't want to believe it. But one administrator made it clear to us that social justice is more prevalent than you think.
There's a significant investment of the districts to make sure that the philosophies and vision of equity and inclusion are embedded in everything that we do, from district to building to operations.
In time, do you think we can get social justice as a theme in more schools, or will it get there?
I would say it's probably embedded in almost every school to some extent.
A lot of what we talked about was superficial at first, just so that people get comfortable, but people were so bothered by still implicit bias, microaggressions, because they think that you're calling them a racist, and that's not it.
It's just superficial at first. Think about that when your district adopts a diversity, equity, and inclusion protocol. Think about that when they bring in the practices of social and emotional learning. Social and emotional learning isn't always associated with CRT, but it's often used as a Trojan horse to push the principles of social justice.
So there's still social justice, diversity, equity, inclusion in the curriculum and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like the state has done, because the state of Ohio a few years ago adopted social emotional learning standards.
Yeah, which is great.
Managing self, managing interactions with others, being responsible. That's how those are organized into 3 big buckets across all the grades. And so I feel like the state as a whole has had a more whole-centered, whole-child focus than just strictly academics.
Is the social and emotional learning a good way? Can that be used to get social justice and diversity, equity, inclusion put forth?
Yes, that combined with our efforts on positive behavior intervention supports.
There's no real way to know whether or not your district is using social and emotional learning to push the principles associated with critical race theory. And it really makes you feel bad for those who believe in these practices but don't want to push social justice or the ideas of systemic racism or the notion that capitalism is inherently racist. And therein lies the problem. Trust in public education has been broken. The only solution is school choice. Simply passing laws against bad behavior will do nothing to these radicals. As Corey DeAngelis so rightfully says, we should fund students, not systems. Use the link below this video to take action right now and demand school choice in your community. You can also make a contribution to make these videos possible. We are a tax-deductible organization. Again, I'm Adam Gillette with Accuracy in Media, and there's plenty more to come in this investigation.